Welcome back to Friends Like Us. I am Marina Franklin, and this is
Evelyn Frick.
Yeah. So we had a bit of a rough start. I needed some concealer, and you needed to restart your computer.
I did, yeah.
But we actually still started on time enough to grab the those Facebook fellows. By the way, if you're just joining us, the best way to join us is on YouTube. That is the best way because you never know what look I'm trying to fill in. This is where I have hair loss. So I
Mm,
always do this little thing. You know what men do, the comb over? Well,
totally.
I do the baby hair over.
Nice.
Trying to get it. So Evelyn, how you doing? And we missed you last week and Juskow was trashing. But
I'm
what
sure he
else?
was.
How
What's
you
new?
everyone missed you though.
Oh, it's so nice to hear. Yeah, I was still in Lancaster with visiting my parents. So that was nice. Just had a day with them. There's like a really nice open air market in Lancaster that's like really old. That's open on Saturdays. So we went there in the afternoon. But yeah, no, it's just been a week back after the holiday, and was watching some of the World Cup this morning, and now I'm happy to be back.
I don't really watch the World Cup. It's the most popular sport too.
It is. I mean, like, I don't typically watch the men's World Cup, which is what's on right
Oh.
now. The US women's team is far better than our men's team, and actually our men's team just got knocked out of the World Cup today. But yeah, so I don't typically pay attention to this one, even though it's the one that most people pay attention to.
Whoa. Yeah, I guess I should be up on stuff.
It's like, I mean, I don't know. It definitely is like a you know preference, I guess. Like a lot of like the complaints that I hear for people who say they don't like soccer is that like you can end the match and it'll be 0-0, and that's just where the match ends.
Oh, okay.
So I get that, but like I grew up when I was growing up, like the early mid 2000s is like when like Mia Hamm and like Abby Wambach, who are like really big soccer stars for the U.S. women's team, were playing, and that actually like inspired a young generation of women to play soccer, which is like why our women's team is so good right now. So I've just always grown up playing it and loving it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like did I ever play soccer?
yeah. It's
I
yeah,
never
it's like
played.
I don't know why it started becoming a thing in the early 2000s at that time, but something that's like really fun, at least to watch now, is like a young star on the U.S. women's team is actually Dennis Rodman's daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is like really fun and really cool to see that she's like just as athletic as her dad.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dennis Rodman.
I
But
know.
he's a psychopath.
He is crazy. Yeah.
But his daughter must be does she look like him?
A little bit. She's I'd say like fairly tall, and like a little bit. She's actually kind of skinny. She's like young. She's like maybe 18, I want to say. But yeah, you can see it in her face that she looks like her dad.
Oh no. I'm joking. I'm joking. She's probably beautiful. I'm just joking. Oh my goodness. Everyone look at this, Evelyn. We have someone new here. TV, welcome back. And also new friend Monday. Um, I'm gonna try to pronounce this Poeti. Hello and good morning from New Zealand.
Hello.
Whoa. I don't want to say good day because that's Australian. Definitely not New Zealand. I was in Australia and I know that like crossing the border, if
Mhm.
you ever go, like I saw this story about this woman who accidentally took bananas
Oh
and she
no.
was like fined like I think it was like 10,000. It was like a astronomical number because
Oh God.
well you ruin their crops when you do stuff like that. Like
Oh, totally. Because you could like accidentally bring in like I don't know, something like other seeds that would, germinate and
yeah.
whatever. That's wild. Yeah, I've never been to New Zealand or Australia, but it's they're both definitely on my list. A friend of college of mine actually lives in Australia right now. I have a friend who's from New Zealand, and they both look lovely. And also, it's the summer there right now, which I would love to to be in the middle of summer right now.
Oh, me too. It is. I remember when I was in Australia, I went during their winter and I was so
Yeah,
confused. I was like, wait, I thought it was always summer here.
I know.
You know, we have some South African friends here, I see. I just want to tell you hello and cello, cello. I'm just going to stick with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, all the way from South Africa, we missed you too. And you know what? This Monday, it'll be the episode that is coming out. I believe that is December 9th. Is that what's the week after this? Hold on, folks. I know.
Might be the
Oh,
13th.
the 7th,
No,
December
7th.
7th. We have a guest that's coming on the podcast. Now, this is our live stream to promote the podcast that I actually is audio. And I think I'm going to try to do video with that one. I just
Ooh,
upgraded to where I could record video as well with friends like us. That is the podcast we're promoting. I have it in the background here.
nice. Oh yeah, yeah, I can
See
see it.
that there's the
Oh, that's so
logo.
good.
Yeah. And I just wanted to let you know from South Africa, Selo, that we have David Cow, who is a comedian from South Africa, who actually brought me there to Joburg like almost 18 years ago.
Wow,
And another guest that I've never met. She's a young comedian from South Africa. So that is definitely an episode to listen to.
that's
And
awesome.
hello to you too, Opoku Paul. I know I am butchering these names. I am apologizing. Oh no. Oh, okay. You're from Canada.
Oh wow.
You were last time you were watching us from Dubai. Ooh, you
World
get
traveler,
around.
yeah.
Yeah. Whoa. And then Mike is so happy. Look, hello, Marina and
Aw,
Evelyn. Missed you last week, Evelyn. Glad you had a good day with your family.
thank you. That's so lovely. I hope you had a lovely holiday as well.
See, they love you.
That's so nice.
Juskow, he tries to hate on. He also tried. Someone mentioned they were like, he's trying to take Evelyn's job. He will never take your job, honey.
Oh.
He can't. He can't fill those shoes.
I so appreciate you saying that, and also was in no way worried that that would happen. It's so funny. I like emailed him the like reviews for last week, and he just responded, "Okay." So I knew
he's
he was
so
gonna be salty.
he's so funny like that. It's just like get over. He's an old. This is what old men do. By the way, this morning I've had a couple of like not Karen moments. I don't know. It should be another name for what I do because I'm not like a Karen. I don't get hysterical and put
Yeah,
people in jail or anything like that, but or
yeah.
threat on anyone's bodies. But I do get too involved in stuff.
Mhm,
So this morning I went down to throw out my garbage, and my
mhm.
neighbor was rescuing a cat like in mid climb. The cat was like nails was attached to this like wired gate, wouldn't
Oh,
let
no.
go, and the neighbor was trying to get the cat, and I kept going, it could be feral. I get too involved. I was like, it could be feral, and then I realized, Marina, just help. And then he was like, no, I'm just trying to get the cat, and then the door closed and it locked, and I said, well, whatever I can do to help. And what he was really good with the cat, he got the cat off of this like gate
Yeah, yeah.
and held it, and the cat stayed with him
Oh,
because he goes, no, no, the cat's very clean. I go, okay. And then I walked around the building with him. I opened the door and I said, anything you need, if you need, my apartment number, whatever, I could help you. Are you going to keep the cat? It was 8 o'clock in the morning, Evelyn.
no, I think that's nice though, and also it is a very good point that a lot of cats that are, like, out in the city are feral and do not wanna be touched,
That's
and do
true.
not want and will scratch you or, bite you because they just wanna be left alone. I think that's a valid point.
I know, but I just felt like one of those when I was just like, look at me, look at me. And then I couldn't help myself. One of my neighbors in on my hallway, she leaves her door open,
Oh, that's not good.
like cracked. Like I could see the door is open. She left it open last night. It was still open this morning. I
That would
call
be, like, for me, like, a Law& and Order moment, like, "Oh, like, did someone get murdered in here? Like, what's happening?"
That's why I didn't go, because I was like, "I don't wanna know." And then, like,
Yeah,
not to be like, I mean, this sounds awful what I'm about to say, but her face is kind of like something she's new,
yeah,
but I didn't know how to put it to my super, so I called him and I said, "Hey, can you help? There's a girl who just moved in.
yeah,
You will know her because, well, her face is kind of it's kind of messed up." And
yeah,
I know that sounds horrible, but I was just thinking to myself, I don't know what happened to her before, but this
yeah.
isn't how, did
Yeah, no, I think, like, calling the super is, like, the absolute right move, like, I would not, like I thought about, like, what I would do in a situation where, like, it's something's, like, off or weird, and yeah, like, I understand not wanting
I
to
was trying to
help.
describe her too, and it just sounded awful as I heard myself. I was like, "Her
Yeah,
face is kind of messed up," and I was like, "Oh, Marina." But the thing is that I really wanted to make sure, and if I see her, I don't know if I should tell her. I just and then I call and then he didn't it was a voicemail message, and then I'm walking to the farmer's market. I call him again this
yeah,
morning, and he's, like, barely awake, and I could just hear him. He's like, "Come on, Marina." And I'm like, "Dude, seriously, like, can you just
yeah,
check on her? Because yeah,
yeah,
these
I
are
think,
these
like
are Marina moments."
I think no, I totally get it, like, when someone's, like, new in your building and you don't know them, or just, like, generally when you don't know someone, like, the easiest way to describe them are their, like, features?
Features!
Yeah, and I think
I guess messed up would not be, but it is a very intense something
yeah,
happened, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I didn't
yeah,
know how to ugh.
yeah,
I
that's
was, like,
hard.
stuck between what I was saying, and I was like, "God, I sound awful."
I mean, like, I think I don't know, I don't know this person at all, but I like, if something, like, had happened to her and, like, I think she would rather, like, have someone, like, describe her in that way than, like, not call the super if she needs help.
Thank you, Evelyn, for making me feel better about that. I
Yeah,
hope
yeah,
she's okay,
yeah.
and it's all the time. I always see it open.
I don't like that. I like that makes me nervous. Like, even in an apartment building where, like, ostensibly, like, it should be hard for people who don't live there to get in, like, there could like, it's a New York City apartment building, there maybe could be, like, bugs or, like, something in the hallway that you don't want or dirt to get in your apartment. I don't like
It could
that.
be maybe it was her cat that was.
Oh, maybe.
You never
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like, it's probably her cat. I wonder if the guy is gonna ever put a sign up about a missing cat. That's another thing I wanna get involved in, because if I
Interesting.
see him, I'm probably gonna go, "You should put a sign up to say if someone's missing a cat instead of just taking the cat."
No, yeah, that's important. I'd be so sad if my cat, like, had gotten out and then someone just found it and kept it. That's so mean.
I don't know how you lose cats, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, before we bring on the man who we've got a couple of minutes, thank God. Um This is true. This episode this week is one of my favorite episodes.
Oh,
It's
wow.
with Dr. Ray Wynn Grant, and she is a scientist who works with bears. She works in the wild with
Yeah.
black and brown bears, big cats. And speaking of cats, we talked about how, people are starting to walk. You've seen people walk their cats outside?
I have, like, walk the cats on a leash, or they'll even have, like, a little baby stroller where the cat is inside.
Well, there's a reason for that, and hello, George from Germany.
Wow.
Whoa! Uh, there's a reason, because they're finding that cats actually do lose their minds inside, kinda like we did during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
Who knew?
Yeah, I had no idea. I figured a lot of cats just like to, just chill out at home, or I never, like, understood, like, outdoor cats, but that's so cool. I'm excited to see that. I wasn't sure if the cats actually liked being on the leash, so I'm glad to know that they do.
I thought it was bad to do that. I used to look and judge people who did that, because their necks can get out and they could escape, and my
Yeah.
cat, Billy, would have never have gone outside.
Yeah, yeah.
I tried. I had Billy go into the hallway, and he ran right back. Whenever he heard like a little noise, he scurried right back. Never wanted to be outside. But yeah, they're saying that cats need that that stim. They go a little batty. So
Oh, wow.
who knew?
That's cool.
TB, you should look up Flatbush Cat Organization. They do work in getting feral cats fixed and rescue the ones that seem like they want to be in homes. Now, that's interesting. True story, TB, who always, by the way, thank you, TB. He watches us when we record live.
Oh, that's great.
This is an opportunity for those of you that didn't know. And if you're just joining us right now, this is the promotion of my podcast, which is in audio form. It's on all platforms. It's in the Linktree. All the platforms are there below. But TB, because he's a Patreon friend, which means he donates money. Thank you, TB. He is golden, and he comes backstage and he watches us record live.
That's
And
so
he's
cool.
and TB's always there. Thank you. We
That's
had a
so
little bit of a glitch this week where we were trying to log on, but it was good. It's always good. I don't know why I always bring up this stuff.
cool.
And but TB, true story, Marina Franklin went to a feral cat meeting years ago. The mayor at the time, not de Blasio, Bloomberg,
Mm.
had a thing set up where you could get together with a group of people in City Hall and work on solving, because there's more cats than people in New York City,
Oh,
believe it or not.
wow.
Yeah, it's a very big problem. So they
Yeah.
have these feral cat colonies and people who manage them, and the city actually helps those people out. They donate and they
Oh,
give them
cool.
like food and stuff like that, and it's called TNR, trap, neuter, release. You got to
Mhm.
learn how to do it. You get these cages. It's hard to get cats that are feral in these. It's crazy how much I know about this stuff. It really is. And the fact that I even went down there and there was just a lot of women. There was one guy, and I started a riot in there because I said, you know what? They don't do this in Harlem. This is like and this woman stood up. She goes, "That's right. This is discrimination against cats in Harlem."
That's so funny.
Oh, I had a whole thing going.
You
And
should
then
write
this
that into your show. That's so
I
good.
know. And then there was another woman who said the same God who made cats also made rats. Because we were talking about poisoning rats and how
Mm.
you have to be careful with the cats. And she said, well, we shouldn't be poisoning the rats either.
That's so funny. There's actually I just saw, that New York City I don't know what the official job title is, but Curbed, which is like the kind of urbanist, publication from New York Magazine, wrote an article that New York City is essentially looking for a rat overlord. They want someone whose
Yes.
entire job is to manage the rat problem in New York City, which I think is such a funny job. And also, but also it will pay extremely well. So if anyone is in New York City and knows a lot about rats,
Well,
this might be for you.
that's our moment for before we bring on, speaking of rats. Oh my god, that was horrible. Speaking of rats. Hello, David Juskow. New York City rat czar, job listing for head vermin hunter. Yes. Look at that little guy. Oh. The same
Oh,
God who
no,
made
they're
cats
disgusting.
also made rats.
No, they're like turkeys. They're stupid and delicious.
They're delicious.
No, I was just doing that line from Friends.
A rat guru. Yes. You know, I will say that rats have been known to be men's best friend.
I do know people who have like rats as pets. And they seem like nice, but
Yeah.
like the rats that I see on the street are scary
No,
and
those
so
tails are
big
disgusting.
and
Those
really
tails are-
gross.
The
I know,
tails
the
are no
tails.
good. They're gross.
The tails are pretty, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always like every night if I'm like out, and then it's like I think a Thursday or Friday night when the trash goes out, at least in my neighborhood, and so it's just always rats all the time. Not a fan.
Well, that's why those sheds are causing more issues about rats as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I listen, okay. Someone told me, Zainab, who's been on the show several times. She was like, if you could just do the podcast one time without mentioning the restaurant downstairs, just one time. But I have to mention the restaurant downstairs got rid of their outdoor thing, not the
Interesting.
bar, but the
They did?
restaurant. Yeah, they have the bar that still has their out, but they got rid of it and it opened up like 3 parking spots. Thank you. And I can cross the street without getting run over by a bike. Thank you very much. Because
Oh.
it was in the crosswalk.
How did they get rid of it? I mean, why would they get rid of it? Do you
I
think
hope
you
I
could
had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I
I haven't heard of anybody actually doing it, even though everybody wants
Nah.
them gone.
Yeah, it must be something like they must have just looked at how many people have used it over the last few years and realized like it wasn't worth it.
They never use it, but I do think that what happened was because they have an outdoor part to their restaurant that they usually open up during
Oh,
the
yeah.
winter, and so they can't have that and take up parking spots. And so, what's happening is I wrote to this organization that is fighting against all these outdoor
Mm,
street tents or whatever you call them.
yeah.
Because if you look at New York One or on the news, they always claim that New Yorkers have no problem with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's true. I mean, like I do as someone like I don't typically I don't eat indoors still. So I appreciate having that option sometimes, but if it's like in a really crowded like small street and it just like crowds the street and makes it there no parking for cars, yeah, I don't think they should be there. Also, they're gross. They're not kept well.
No, like people unhoused individuals stay in there, and it's not a good situation. It's not a good solution.
No, no, it's not.
Oh, thanks for watching Upload with Zainab.
So cool.
Yes. Have you watched Upload?
I watched the first season, I believe. And then I don't have Amazon Prime
You
anymore.
mean the Amazon show? I watched that
Mhm.
first season. That was very good because my friend Andrea Rosen's in that too.
Yeah, Zainab is in it, which is why I'll have to stop immediately on the dot today because she's taking me and Keith out to dinner.
Wait,
Oh, it's nice that
who
she's
does
in
she
New
play
York.
in the show?
She's one of the main characters. She's like one of the employees that works
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. And where are
the
you guys
one.
going for dinner? Or you can't say.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't say, but it's a vegan spot.
You-
Mm.
And Keith is okay with that?
That's what she said last night. She said he surprisingly was okay with it. I go, So, how are we all doing after the holidays and everything? Are we feeling healthy and fit? Oh, something fell in my path. I've put on so much weight. Oh, you probably can't see it in this YouTube.
You look great.
Oh, thank you, Evelyn. What about you, Juskow? What up, motherfucker? Where's your you look great?
I I think you need to keep it together.
That's coming from Juskow.
No, I was you do look great. I was thinking I put on weight myself, so I was thinking of myself. Sorry.
Oh, you're
And
a
also
projection.
I'm sorry. I'm not having a good day. And for no reason, I'm just I'm very depressed. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I can usually turn it around when I do the show, but I had White Castle last night, and I don't think it's. I think when you said you were gaining weight, I'm like, you have no idea what gaining weight is like.
Well, stop eating White Castle.
What?
Stop eating White Castle.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but
Do you know that certain types of food can actually add to depression? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, first
Sugar.
they also have a new Sloppy Joe, which is pretty good. So yeah,
That
heck, you know what I'm
cannot be
talking about.
helping with depression.
I had 5 of the cheeseburgers. I decided not to get the double this time. Then I had 3 Sloppy Joes and some French fries and a chocolate shake. And then last night wasn't too fun, but I was expecting that anyway because I feel like it's a good way to lose weight because you really, it's my way of. I could have gotten a colonoscopy this morning, without having to take any of their liquids or pills. It works like a charm.
You know what you could use is a good celery juice cleanse.
Oh my God. You're probably right. But I don't know. And I wish I'd gone to the store today to make dinner. And I don't know. My life is just so strange. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm very confused.
I mean, I think it probably doesn't help that it's like very rainy and dreary today.
Well, again, I don't really go out that much on the weekends anyway anymore. I mean, I did go out this morning. Maybe you know what? You're probably right. That probably has something to do with it. I thought the rain
Seasonal.
was supposed to come tomorrow. That's why I was surprised.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be sunnier tomorrow. I was planning to go out tomorrow. Let me see.
I went out with Victoria, Vic Henley's wife, Thursday.
How's she doing?
She's doing good.
No one knows her, so let's not talk. Look, this is my hot flash spritzer.
Ooh.
I just thought you guys would like to know. I went to the farmer's market. The soap lady was not there, Dave.
I thought you said she was going to be there. That's why you told me about.
I'm telling you about this because I know this is going to
almost
annoy
took off
you.
work to do that. I'm glad I didn't.
I knew this would annoy you just as much.
Well, why would the soap lady come if it's going to rain? Even if there's any chance of rain.
She said it was raining so hard.
That's the one place the soap lady can't, even in a chance of rain. The soap lady cannot show up.
She said she
to an
tried to get in her
outdoor event.
car, and she said it was pouring so hard she couldn't even get all the
This
stuff.
morning?
In
Oh,
Brooklyn. In
Well,
Brooklyn.
that makes a
Yeah,
heck
it
of
was
a lot
raining
of
hard
sense to
this
me.
morning.
And then I went to the manager of the farmer's market, and I said, "Where is the soap lady?" And I created a whole thing because this one girl goes, "Oh, they're not with us anymore." And I go, "No, you don't know what you're talking about." Because I get really upset when people don't know what they're talking about and they talk with authority, which she was doing. And then the guy spoke up and he goes, "Oh, that's Lily Mae." He goes, "She's not a part of the market, but she comes." He goes, "She probably because she has soap." Didn't
Right.
come.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't come because it's raining. Yeah. You went there anyway today, huh? And it wasn't
I was
raining?
going because I was really looking forward to her soap, and the spritzer that she has. This
Oh, that's
stuff,
from her?
it's a hot flash spritzer.
And that's from
Does it
her?
work? Does it
Yeah,
like feel
look at those
good?
ingredients. No
Well,
parabens, no
yeah, but how does it
sulfate.
work? I mean,
It
don't you
calms you
need something
down.
cold? Do you keep it in the
No,
refrigerator?
believe it or not, it's not. It's just a spritz, and whatever is in it, it calms me down, and it like the flash goes
I was going
away.
to say I should invent something like that where you just put it's actually just water, but you keep it in the refrigerator and I call it a hot flash spritz.
It smells so good. It smells like
Mm.
rosemary and what else is eucalyptus?
Ooh, that looks so good.
I don't know. It's like the camera's
My
trying to
old
decide.
HR director used to be called Rosemary, and she didn't smell very good at all.
Can you see those ingredients?
Yeah, it's
Eucalyptus,
actually very clear.
Yeah.
Eucalyptus, of course, lavender, paprika. Oh, that might say peppermint.
lemon essential,
Does
Ooh,
it say rum?
and look, it helps with anxiety too.
There's alcohol in it.
that's nice.
Where's that? I don't see no rum. What are you talking about?
It looks like it. God, that's so weird. I felt like I could smell it for a second. That was weird.
Maybe you could, but you probably have good sense memory.
Maybe that's what it was. That was like really weird. I could like smell kind of a peppermint, lavender, eucalyptus.
Was
for
it refreshing?
Second. What?
Yeah,
Was it refreshing?
Yeah. Yeah, it lifted my spirits.
I see. I could tell.
Yeah, I can tell. Dave, maybe we should get this hot flash spritz.
I'm gonna get it for you.
Yeah, maybe. God, it was really weird. I could.
That'll be your Hanukkah gift from me.
That's
Hanukkah gift from me. Because let me tell you something. It's really weird. It sounds like I used to think all this stuff was corny, like smells and like essential oils and soaps. But all of her stuff, it changes my whole mood. Just the smell of lavender, rose, lemon, all that stuff just changes
It's
everything.
so good. Yeah, I have like an essential oil diffuser that I just like will turn on, and like it's basically you just put like water and then some essential oil in it, and then just like kind of like mists your like whatever room you're in, and it's so nice and so relaxing. It feels like you're at a spa. I highly recommend.
It's just that's what you need. You just need a little spritzer, Dave. I would really love to set up a camera in your house for every moment you go. Shh. Also, something that was on today that I always talk about.
Saturday Night Fever?
No.
Oh.
The Music Man.
Oh, the
Ooh,
original one was on today?
It was
With
on
Shirley
the Turner
Jones?
Classic. Yeah.
What was?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 tick, 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 tick.
Is that Robert Preston, right?
Yeah.
God, I love him. You got to see this movie he was in called SOB. Or have you ever seen Victor Victoria?
It's been a long time.
That was when he was older. He was so good in that. He's so talented. He was so his voice and his demeanor were so fun. He was just always like, join me in one of these little pink pills. Like he just always has that Music Man voice, like he's trying to sell something to somebody. In all the movies he did later in the 80s.
Oh, so he's been typecast as to the marketing, the kind of
in
SOB
he plays a kind of a quack doctor for the stars, and it's really great. And it's a great movie. It's it didn't do very well when it first came out. That's the one where Julie Andrews shows her boobies.
I didn't know she did that.
I did
not.
Yeah,
Last Starfighter, right, Tibby? Last Starfighter. Are you saying, my boy, you don't want to be a Centaurian? Yeah, he made like 3 awesome movies in the 80s, and then he died, and it was a major bummer because he was getting kind of rediscovered. But yeah, that's the Julie Andrews showed her boobies in her husband's film SOB, and it was a big deal. But people didn't like the movie, but I think the movie was awesome. It's like really like a thing about how horrible Hollywood is, and it's real. And so him and who's the guy from like the who's on Turner Classic, William Holden, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Wow. It's the 3 guys. Richard Mulligan from Empty Nest. The father. He's the lead guy, and there's the 3 guys, and they're amazing together. Even Larry Hagman's in it. From My Dreamy Jeannie.
Wow.
But she shows her boobies. Ooh. They're all right.
Well, I will say this, a part of the Music Man that I didn't know, the song Gary, Indiana. I was like, ooh.
It's a shitty song. I always think of the Jackson 5 when I hear that song. I actually thought they wrote that song.
Yeah, that's what my parents told. I one of the first shows I ever saw when I was little was a great community theater, and we went to see the Music Man. And my parents told me about the Jackson 5, I think, because of that song.
Yeah, I think they used to sing it. I think they do a version.
Oh, they do?
Probably. That's where they're from. I mean,
Yeah,
they'd be idiots not to. Oh my God, I just saw the greatest old picture of the Jackson 5 on the Paramount log walking past all 6 Brady Bunch kids.
What?
Just in they were both on the same lot. It's one of the greatest pictures I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. Colin Quinn says that the documentary about the Jacksons, the recent one, he says, not documentary, the movie, the series, he says is one of the best.
I didn't know there was one
about the Jacksons and the father. Yeah. A couple of years back.
It's a new one?
Not new, it's fairly,
because remember there was one a long time ago with Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter.
That's the one.
Oh, that one sucks.
Colin Quinn says it was
Colin Quinn is an idiot, and since his heart attack, he hasn't been the same.
Well, I'm going to tell him you said that.
You can tell him, that's fine, but I'm just kidding. But I didn't like that one. Too much on the father and the mother getting together. No one cares. Move on.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I remember.
You watched it.
Well, I saw it when it first came out 20 years ago. Maybe 30.
Was it that long ago?
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, where's that guy been, right?
It was that long ago?
It was in the 90s?
I feel like it was more recent than that.
Unless there's a different one, but if you're saying that Washington from Welcome Back, Kotter plays the dad, then that is the one I'm thinking of, and that is definitely 20 to 25 years old.
I'm in
and it was
right now.
There's one called The Jacksons, An American Dream from 1992.
92. That's the one.
I'm telling Colin right now.
It says Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, Evelyn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one.
And Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. That's why I get confused, because I keep thinking that it's not Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. It's who's the other guy that's in Lawrence Fishburne, right? Who's in What's Love Got to Do with It?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That's the one he's talking about.
Wait, what? The
With
Jackson.
Lawrence. Was Lauren? Oh no, he said it was almost like watching Lawrence Fishburne in Tina.
Oh, okay, right. Because I was gonna. If it's both Angela Bassett, it's funny because I always think of God, those things left in my head. You know how horrible those two men were, and he's like, it was like, look, anime, I'm writing some songs. I am. I was
Look,
just
I'm
like,
having a hot
he was
flash.
just like that. But I remember that it left a mark on my head, I guess, because I remember it so vividly from 1992. So what is that? Almost 30 years ago, right?
Yeah.
No, I think it is exactly 30
Yeah,
years.
30 years
right?
ago.
And I remember it because the guy was just so mean to Michael, and he was running away, and you just felt horrible for him. So in that sense, I guess it's good, and it's probably very realistic. But too much talk about the dad. I want stuff about the Jack. Also, I believe in that one. Oh God, they show poor Michael, and I don't even know if you can say that now, although all that could be, come back to this is mental issues. But when he would have to, his brothers were always having sex, and he would just sit outside the room while they're having sex, and what could he do? They were trying to get laid. They were 17, 18, when they were on tour, and this poor 10-year-old boy, what are you gonna, I mean, what a nightmare. The whole family is a mess.
I'm surprised they actually haven't done an updated miniseries
Yeah,
since then.
I
I
guess
feel like
because in this one they made Michael a hero.
yeah.
Now what do you do?
Well, I feel like honestly, like in spite of like the allegations, he's having a comeback. Like, wasn't there like a big show on Broadway, or is he probably still
Yeah,
on
there's
Broadway?
the big show on Broadway, but I don't particularly care for those little jukebox musicals, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
supposed to be okay. But also this today, I think is the or this week is the 40th anniversary of the Thriller album.
Mm.
Is it? Oh wow! Oh yeah, because there was a performance I saw on Instagram in New York, um, celebrating it. That's right.
And there is one thing for sure, whether he was this horrible monster or not, which I definitely do believe.
It apparently. Okay, so we had someone on the show on Friends Like Us who said that they recounted, like, that's why Oprah stopped everything that she was doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that would be great because there's a couple things about Michael Jackson that, number one, that Thriller album is amazing and stands the test of time at its greatness, even if those songs are a little strange and old-fashioned. But it doesn't matter; it's amazing. But I worshipped Michael Jackson as a kid, growing up, because he was so cool and his voice was so magical. And again, the only black person I knew or was into. And then he had a cartoon on Saturday morning. So I felt I had, growing up, a connection to Michael Jackson, then watching him grow up and watching him on all the shows that we liked, Marina, the Carol Burnett show, or all the variety shows that when we were kids. And I used to do Michael Jackson imitations. This is before he even, before Off the Wall or anything, and then, just watching him grow up like that, it was amazing. And I just always felt it's such a bummer the way it all ended, because I really, really thought he was the greatest.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like when I was growing up, like in the early mid 2000s, like he would like I was surprised to learn that he had such like a good, solid music career because when I was growing up, like he just seemed like so creepy and
Yeah,
so
it's too
weird.
bad, and it was such a wonderful career because, I mean, the guy, and that's a fascinating. They have a not a documentary, but one of that where Lando Calrissian plays Barry Gordy, or Billy D. Williams plays Barry Gordy when when he wants to go on his own. I mean, this guy, it's really fascinating. He's in the Jackson 5, and they're huge, and then he just says, I want to do stuff on my own. And remember, if you know about what happened, well, you might not know, Evelyn, but when that moonwalk happened at that American Music Awards,
Oh, this is the best thing I've
made
ever
him a
seen in my
living
life.
legend, right? He said, I'll make a reunion with the Jackson 5, with my brothers, but you got to give me a solo part. Like he's so sure of himself. It was like Aaron Judge, this year. He's like, I'm going to bank on myself. And that kind of stuff is, especially the way he grew up and mentally unstable, but to be so sure of his skills. And then, so you count the music and his voice and everything, and then you add in the dancing. I mean, Marina, what do we love Saturday Night Fever? Why do we like that movie? Because John
The
Travolta as a
dancing.
man, again, such a you never see men as great dancers. It's exciting. Women we know are good. Even the worst woman dancer moves well. I don't know if you've been watching, Evelyn, have you watching Wednesday on Netflix?
I've been watching
My girlfriend
Wednesday.
Did you see the dance in the 4th episode?
Don't tell me I'm watching it.
I'm not saying I just
I'm on the
see a
second.
dance.
Is there a good dance?
Oh, it's great. It's weird, but it's fun. But again, Michael was, I mean, I don't even know how you learn to dance and he taught him. I mean, he invented moves that people use to this day. And then that moonwalk, wasn't that the greatest thing you ever saw? You said, Marina, right? I mean,
that I still remember the moment because we don't watch TV like that anymore.
right.
So I still remember like the next day on
next
the
day.
school bus, all the kids were like, "Did you see Michael Jackson?" Like it was,
Yeah, Evelyn, it was unbelievable. And you know
it
what the
was
thing is, when you
unbelievable.
can watch it now, they have it obviously on YouTube, and you get a little bit of the feel. The audience is in such shock. It's not what we remember in our heads that people were just giving him this unbelievable standing ovation instantly. It took time, but watching him do it for the first time and hearing a little bit of the audience reaction, it's exciting.
It was exciting in the glove. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm in love with Michael Jackson. I've never felt like I've never been a fangirl, but that moment, I didn't think I could love anyone more. That was the feeling
I
I
actually
had.
felt that way too, in a different way. I just thought he was the coolest. And again, he was a TV star for me, and just in the 70s, and let alone his music. The Jackson 5 stands the test of time. Their music's amazing, right? And then
I wanna be where you are.
and then what about the fact that he could, when somebody can move on like a Lionel Richie from another band and change their music and just mature is amazing. And that's the word, the one improper word you use with Michael Jackson.
This
His
is
music
interesting.
matured, but his mindset never did.
I just want to. So Eric Prince said, Eric, are you saying DJ? Hello, DJ Eric Prince. The moonwalk was brought to Michael by Jeffrey Daniels from Shalimar.
That makes sense. I don't think I'm not sure if he invented it. I feel like he either saw it and maybe perfected it, or somebody did tell him about it. I've heard that before. But let's face it, I mean, that guy from Shalimar could, tell everybody 100 times he did it, but Michael did it the right way at the right time.
Yeah, you just
People
gotta
rip
have to
off
let it
stuff all
go.
the time, and the person that doesn't get it right is always going to be left in the shadows, unfortunately.
Oh, but on Soul Train though. See, people still love watching those Soul Trains. That's the best part of the cellar is seeing that like Soul Train intro before the show starts. I love every show.
That guy was the best.
I want to mention this real fast. Michael Epps.
Oh, so Mike
Epps. Check out his Instagram today. He has like this white evangelical Catholic religious group, and they're breakdancing and they go into a moonwalk. I am not. They start pop locking, and they're singing like Christian music.
Says, he used him in Thriller and Smooth Criminal. So I guess he was more of also a choreographer. So that's good. He hooked him up after he taught him that. That's cool.
So check out Mike Epps. You have to see this. I mean, I could go to it, but I think I'll try to share the screen because if I can, because it is undeniably the funniest thing I think I have seen in a very long time. So go ahead and talk, Juskow, while I try to find this.
Because I could talk about Michael Jackson.
I know. Go ahead and talk some more, but talk to Evelyn too. Let her
Evelyn,
talk.
do you remember? I guess you wouldn't know that, but they had a Saturday morning cartoon.
I heard about it. I've seen clips.
He had pet mice, Ray and Charles.
That's funny.
And it was good. But the problem with the cartoon, if you watch it, is they just did this one dance number where they would go back and forth and then do a turn, and that was the end. These people who made the cartoons back then just didn't give a shit, and they just put out a bunch of stuff. And I don't. The thing is, I still don't know whether he did the voice or not, because they
Mm.
made one for the Beatles
Right, right.
and a
I would
couple.
imagine probably
The
not.
Osmonds. That what?
I would imagine probably not that he did the voice.
I don't know. They sometimes got the people to do. I know they didn't get it for the Beatles,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like he did do the voice. But
Loving grace provides. Now we put that truth within our hearts and walk with all God's might.
that was moonwalking. That was awful.
Oh my god.
The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. We know that the renewed mind is the key to the power as we move with God. The power lies within, giving us the strength to conquer and to win. We've got all the enablements His love and grace provides. Now we put that truth within our hearts and walk with all God's might.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
that's a horrible moonwalk. That's the moonwalk that I do.
I actually do this move.
The renewed mind is the key to the Christ in me. The renewed mind.
Oh my god!
You know,
God,
you
that's
can. I
awful.
would always imitate a moonwalk. That's imitating a moonwalk. He's not actually doing the unbelievableness that really looks like you're walking and like a mime. You know,
But the fact that they did that, and they're talking about the Christ in me, and
I
he's like,
know.
and what's sad is there is one move that he took from me.
oh, he took from you.
Yeah, there is a move. Well, it's not my move,
But
it's
I mean,
like
he
one of my
moves
moves.
well. That's just not the break. You know, again, when a guy can move well, it's
I don't know if that
exciting.
was
You know, it's
well.
exciting
I'm not
for
going to
girls
go
too.
with.
What?
I didn't. Oh, Nina liked it.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't think the guy was that bad. Any guy that can kind of move gracefully is kind of good because, again, we're just not expecting it from dudes. That's
I
again that
just
makes
feel
Christopher
like
Walken so goddamn cool.
I feel like whenever I see because I feel like there tend to be a lot of clips like that online where it's like some like religious group trying to do something like hip or like dancing in some cool way, but then also like incorporating like religious elements into it. It's I feel like that automatically makes it like so corny.
Yeah, Mike Epps says, I don't know if I trust this breakdance, which was even a great caption for it. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no. And then he goes into that moonwalk.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I
good.
get you. I got it, Eric. See, he didn't do the first moonwalk. Can we move on?
You know, I was also thinking of the Jackson 5 today too, and well, first of all, I was watching "Say Say Say," the video with Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson.
I used to love that.
Yeah, and I just I don't know why I was doing. I guess the Thriller thing gave me a deep search, and I hadn't seen that video in such a long time, and it's not good, and the song isn't the best, but you know, Michael's in it, and when he moves and he just does his stupid twist, and it's great to watch. He's so graceful and cool.
You know what is also cool about him is that he was okay to not be cool. I think that's what made him cool. That was the
Yeah.
part that was like everyone felt like they had access to someone who wasn't like like his cool was not by being like edgy or mean.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? It's
even
like
when he
he
tried
explored.
further on, you know, after the Bad album, and then further beyond that with the one with Eddie Murphy and stuff like that, you know, he still was always looking for a quality dance move and stuff. You ever see the one he did with his sister? It's really good. It's like I told you, Scream, I think it's called. It was much later. I think
right.
it might be off the His Story album. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think that
but-
was like in the 90s or 2000s.
Yeah, probably 2000. Yeah, and but it's still good. You know, I mean, the guy was almost 50 or 40, and he was still.
I always
moving.
felt sorry for the sister. Was it the centipede song? When the centipede
LaToya?
is hot. Is it LaToya?
I think it is.
No, it's not LaToya. She didn't do centipede.
Yeah, Centipede. I thought that was LaToya.
Well,
Who's
we
the
got
other one then?
DJ Eric Prince. Let us
We know it's not Janet. There's LaToya. No, you're right. It's not LaToya.
BB or Rebe.
Yeah, no. It's another one.
Tell us,
But
DJ. Come on.
Yeah, it's not LaToya. Right. Here's in Say 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 though. You think it was
Rebe
Rebe?
Jackson.
Yeah.
See, that's the one I feel the most.
So wait,
we couldn't
you know
even
what's-
come up with her name. For God's
But
sake.
you know what's weird is that in Say, he's hitting on either LaToya or Rebe, which is even weirder.
Oh, I don't like that.
Who is?
Michael Jackson, I'm positive that's his sister in Say.
Really?
Rebby Jackson and Centipede. Plus,
When
you know what's also a good
Centipede
song
is
is
hot.
Jermaine Jackson and that song Dynamite. All night, all night, highly explosive dynamite. It's dynamite. I feel like Michael Jackson wrote all the songs for all of his brothers and sisters, and you know.
So, like, who did you grow up listening to that was like, did that for you, Evelyn? That's what I'm curious. Like, your generation, do you have that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I think this is like a lot more contemporary, but I do think for a lot of people, Harry Styles is becoming that performer.
Yeah,
Not in terms of like dance.
but that's
Um,
it's still too old for you. I mean, in the sense that's not who you grew up on.
Yeah,
is
who
it?
did
no,
you
no, I
grow
know,
up
but like I honestly, I don't know if I have someone.
Would,
I mean,
would
like,
it be Taylor Swift?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean,
But that's
yeah, I
not
guess
good
I did.
enough.
I personally didn't like listen to Taylor Swift a lot when I was growing up.
I
I
think
mean, Britney Spears is slightly like I was
that
slightly
makes
too
sense.
young for, but yeah, I think like Britney Spears, maybe
But
Justin Timberlake.
yeah, Justin Timberlake's a good example. But you know what? The other thing we had, Marina, that these guys don't have is that Taylor Swift. I know
TV.
everybody. What?
We had TV. We had the
Right,
TV.
and that's the thing. So it's like I know Taylor Swift is great, but I don't see her like inventing the wheel. Whereas Michael invented, this brand of music that we had never heard before, and the videos that
Oh
were
yeah, Lady
new.
Gaga. Yeah,
And so
that's
Lady
true.
Gaga is a great example. But yeah, that's what he invented stuff that we had never heard or seen before. Whereas I feel like Taylor Swift, I'm like, well, she's writing music. And that's where it ends for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Toys. Toya was in The Way You Make Me Feel, or Toys?
I think she means
Marshall.
LaToya.
Oh,
Or him.
Latoya.
Sorry.
Toya was in The Way.
Yeah.
The Way You
But
Make
who's
Me
in
Feel.
Say? Which sister is that? I'm positive it's a sister, and it's very awkward. Because
But
he never.
I suspended my disbelief. Didn't
Me
you?
too. I did too, but it was still awkward. I mean, he had a couple of like, who was that girl? Ola Ray.
Love
in
the
Thriller,
that's
right?
Serious, yes.
Ola Ray.
Ola Ray. Oh yes,
I don't know
yes.
if she was in Thriller.
Beautiful.
And who's that girl in?
What about Beyonce, Evelyn?
Oh yeah, I'd say Beyonce for sure. She was
Oh, it
like
was
she
LaToya in Say,
started. It was LaToya, yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Beyonce,
look it
like
up.
I was a little bit too
Young
for like for her the earlier like the Destiny's Child part of her career, but yeah, definitely like
What do you
2009.
listen to?
It's a good question. I listen to a lot more like alternative indie rock. So like a big group for me when I was like growing, or like when I was like middle school age, was like Vampire Weekend.
Oh my God, those guys are the best. I've hung around with them a couple. We used to drink together.
Really?
They're such nice guys.
They're cool. Yeah. I mean, now I just kind of listen to like, a smattering whatever. My dad was like, he always like would tell me he was like the person in like the 70s and 80s who would like bring the records to the party. So he has a huge record collection. So I always was kind of listening to like older music, like Prince, Paul Simon, Simon and Garfunkel.
That's
people like
thanks to
that.
your parents. Parents
Yeah.
really do
See, I got
introduce you to
screwed.
good music.
My parents didn't listen to anything. If my dad listened to anything, it was the news. So we never listened to anything in the car. When we're doing the Billy Joel podcast, I hear people like, "Oh, my parents used to listen to it in the car." All we heard were show tunes. So that is why I love show tunes.
Okay.
But you do know a lot of show
That's all
tunes.
my dad would play. My mother would play nothing. So
I-
the only thing I had growing up was Barry Manilow and the Partridge Family.
Oh no. Oh,
Well, nobody
God.
taught me anything else. I had
Well,
one Beatles
listen.
45 when it first
New
came out, which was
edition.
Hey Jude.
True story, Marcus. When I was in like I think 8th grade, a couple of us got together and we thought we could be New Edition, but we called ourselves the Kango kids, and we wore Kango hats. That was our thing.
Bobby,
so funny.
Ricky,
But we
Ricky
sang
and Mike. If I
New
like a girl, who
Edition
cares who you like?
songs.
What,
We sang their songs,
That's so
calling
funny.
ourselves a singing group.
Cool it now. No, you got to slow it down. Isn't that them?
Slow it down. Or no, cool it now.
Cool it now. You got to slow it down. Watch out.
Watch out. You gotta lose control.
And how does it go? Wait, Bobby, Ricky, Jimmy and Mike.
Jimmy and Mike. And I had a crush on this guy who was like the reason we did the Kango kids. His name was Antonio. And I was like, I just wish he would like me. And he liked this other girl. And I was like, but I'm in the Kango kids with him. I'm doing all the work. And his best friend was like in love with me. But I was like, I don't want you. I want your friend. I don't want you. And then I settled for his friend. And then my dad got upset because my dad, like, it was my first kiss ever downtown Chicago. I had him come to my hotel room because my dad lived in a hotel. It's a long story.
Wait, your first kiss, you were in a hotel room?
My dad lived in a hotel downtown for a long time.
Cool.
Yeah, in the Oxford House, which is off of Water Street. It's very popular along the anyway. So, remember, Evelyn, where you saw the little water?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's where my dad lived for a while. And so,
cool.
we would get a room. He would give us a room. And so I had my first boyfriend meet me there. And my stepmother told on me. And my dad broke in the room. We were just about to kiss. I think we were laying on the bed. He was on top of me. And my dad broke in the room. And he ran, my first boyfriend, he runs out. And he was like, where did that nigga?
That's so dramatic.
It was. And my dad, though, later on, this is how cool my dad was. I didn't really get into that much trouble. I hear my dad on the phone discussing it with his friend. And he goes, I wouldn't have been so mad if he wasn't so goddamn ugly.
Was he
funny.
ugly?
He wasn't
Marina?
Antonio.
Oh.
Anyway.
That's so funny.
That's so cool that you're living in a hotel. That's exciting.
For a little bit, yeah. My sister and I, we would, and then we would work for my dad, and yeah, we stay and we order food and
Marina,
all the hotel.
did you ever
food.
see the movie My Bodyguard with Ruth Gordon and
No.
Chris Makepeace was the lead? Remember, he hired Adam Baldwin, who's in Full Metal Jacket, to be his bodyguard, so Matt Dillon wouldn't beat him up every day.
No. Oh wait.
It was one of Matt Dillon's first.
That
movies,
was
maybe his
that.
first.
Now you're really trying to get Evelyn out of the conversation because that was
No, yeah,
definitely
really
when I
bad.
was like in 8th grade. I
Yeah.
remember that
It was
movie.
a very early 80s, maybe.
Well, I'm
81.
thinking of Outsiders actually.
No, so this is called My Bodyguard, and they live.
Oh, yeah, My Bodyguard.
Who's the?
I
Martin
loved
Mull
my
was his
bodyguard
dad,
transformed.
and they lived in a hotel. Because his dad worked there. His dad was the manager of the hotel, so they lived in the hotel.
Oh,
And I always remember being like, "Oh my God, that's so exciting!" Like he lived there with his grandmother and his dad, and every day he would just go down to the kitchen and they'd make him whatever he wanted.
And that was the first time my sister and I saw a guy jerking off.
Ew.
Well, we were kids and we didn't know. Like, we opened up the curtain and we could see right across. I was like, "Oh my God, what is that?"
Oh my
And
God.
it was a guy jerking off. And my sister and I, swear to God, to this day, we still remember how horrified, because we didn't think about it. We always had the windows open. We'd be jumping around and having all this fun. And then we see this curtain from across the way, just this little tilt of a curtain. And then we see the guy jerking off. And I was like, "Oh my God." But we were like laughing and stuff. We're like, "Oh my God, look at that. He's jerking off."
That's so funny.
And then we told my dad, and I don't know what happened after that.
See, Liz remembers the movie when Matt Dillon was gory. He was gorgeous. back then.
Elizabeth, Matt Dillon.
Yeah, and
he was
also
gorgeous.
Joan Cusack was in it. I remember because he goes, "Hey Shelley, you want to go to the movies Friday? Sure. You have a good time when you're there." He was a real bully. God, I can
Oh,
remember
let's
that
see
movie
what
so
Heck Tech
vividly.
listens to: Latin freestyle, EDM, hip hop, ballads from the 80s, 90s, and today's Spanish music of roughly the same genre. Oh, very cool.
Why do you think
Yes.
Michael Jackson was hitting on? Like, why do you think he'd be okay hitting on LaToya in that video?
Because he was acting.
Yeah, it's acting.
You do that. Like, look, The Girl Is Mine. My cousins and I, they used to pretend like they were fighting over me. And we would
Yeah.
act out the song, No, My Mind. And we thought we were going to go somewhere with that performance.
Well, I
Of
was
them
thinking
fighting
about that.
over me, my cousins fighting over me, their cousin. It's just play.
But they were
acting.
girls.
No, there was a boy and a girl. My cousin
Oh,
Lavinia.
that's different.
But we were just play acting. So
I gotcha.
that's kind of what
I got you. It's just he's
Weird.
Gaga over her in the video. It's confusing.
Was he Gaga or was he Lady Gaga?
They look
I
like
got a
they're twins.
facial, by the way, from the same woman who does did Lady Gaga's. I
And
don't
you're
know if
like,
you could
speaking
tell.
of masturbation.
Look at, see how
I mean,
I'm
you are
glowing?
glowing. Yeah,
You see
you are.
that?
You look good.
Let it go, Juskow. This is what Marcus wants you to let it go.
I think I have no problem letting it go. I guess I want you to play the video so everybody can see it.
I wish I could, but then they block us.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll block that religious song though, because they made that up.
Say
Probably not.
What you want. So what else is going on? Elon Musk officially kicked off Kanye. Kanye is fucking like someone. This is an intervention time. Like someone needs to
Yeah.
strap him down and put him away
I'll tell you
and
in a
get
second,
him
DJ.
help.
Like it's like bad when like very clearly he was making Alex Jones uncomfortable.
Oh, wow, right?
And yeah, in that interview, which is like the only I mean, Alex Jones is like as bad as Kanye in his
He might be
beliefs,
worse.
and the only reason he was uncomfortable is
'Cause he
because
knows what he's doing,
he trades in like dog whistles and not saying like that stuff out loud, and Kanye was fully like, I
Are you
like
sure,
Hitler.
Marcus?
So yeah, no, he needs some help.
Uh-oh, Marcus Fuller's now got you going. Yeah. Marcus, why? Why did you do that? Now you've got it. Look, none of his sisters are not in safe state. Now you got him going.
Well, that'll make me feel better, I guess.
By the way, in honor of you, Juskow, I got my little niece a Pac-Man arcade game that fits her at 5.
Oh, you did?
That's going to arrive in her house like any day now. And I'm something about seeing kids open gifts brings me so much joy.
Aw.
Toys. Like she's going to have her little arcade Pac-Man video game.
That's so cute. Pac-Man is such a timeless game. I remember my mom grew up playing like Pac-Man and like Ms. Pac-Man and like introduced
No, it is
that to
Latoya.
my sister and
just
I when
looked
we
it
were
up.
very little and so fun.
You are incorrect, Marcus.
Yeah. Oh, Marcus, look, see what you did?
I just looked it up.
Kanye's security won't allow an intervention. Something needs to happen. They need to arrest him.
Do you think he's not well?
Not well.
He's not well.
Like gone. He's really. Here's the thing in Canada. I think this is a crime.
I'm not sure about Canada, but I know like in other countries, like in Germany, for example, it's illegal to deny the Holocaust and say things like that. So
yes, it should be a crime.
I don't know. You know, that's really bad. But that Alex Jones saying that Sandy Hook was, not real. That's like the worst.
Well, he's bankrupt now. Yeah. He just filed for Is he allowed to file for bankruptcy?
Probably. I mean, the thing about like civil cases is like they can like a judge can like say someone has to pay however much money that they can, or like however much money if they like lose the suit. But oftentimes with cases where it's like you have to pay within the millions of dollars, you like the people who win those cases never see that money typically. So yeah, I don't imagine that, and I'm sure the families from Sandy Hook are not like, they're not in it for the money. They just want him to stop saying that it didn't happen. So
looks like the U.S. is getting killed in soccer. It's over.
Oh yeah, that happened this morning. They're done.
No, started at 2.
No, it started at 10.
Ooh, who's got information?
Yeah, I watched the whole game a while ago. They lost.
Get your facts right.
I think Argentina's playing right now.
Everything today.
I do want to say this before this episode, you definitely have to check out this episode of Friends Like Us. Dr. Ray Wynn Grant. It is such a phenomenal episode. Have you ever had to survive a bear attack or been afraid to survive a bear attack or ever thought about an encounter with a bear? it is in this episode on what to do, but you got to listen to it to know what to do. What
That's
about
great.
you,
I feel
Jessica?
like
Have you ever? Yeah, go ahead,
I was just
Evelyn.
gonna say, I feel like you should have her back on when the movie Cocaine Bear comes out. I don't know if you've heard of
I
that.
haven't.
But so the trailer for it dropped like a few days ago, and it looks like a really weird movie, but it also is like cast so well. So the premise is this like drug smuggling thing goes wrong, and like these like pounds and pounds of packages of cocaine end up in the forest in Georgia, and this bear eats them and then goes on this murderous rampage. And it has Kerry Russell, Ray Liotta in his last role, like
Oh,
Margot
wow.
Martindale, and it's allegedly based on a true story. The true story is that like a bear did eat like lost cocaine and then died. But it looks really weird and actually kind of good. And it was making a lot of buzz on social media this past week because the trailer came out.
You're talking a real bear. You're talking about.
Yeah. So like, yeah, the real story aspect of it is that like a drug smuggling ring like accidentally dropped pounds of cocaine
What
in a
up,
Georgia
East
forest,
Africa?
and then a bear ate it and died. But in this retelling, the bear eats it and then goes insane and starts killing the people
Oh,
in the
that's
town.
hilarious.
Well, we do talk about the reason that they do take out, like, like they have like a lot of this has been the story week after week about like bringing back hunting, like killing, there's like animal advocates that are like, please don't hunt and shoot bears.
Oh yeah, no.
On the episode though, she gives a justification for her science reason and her opinion, which are both, she says, pretty valid, and scientists should be able to talk in both ways, which makes them more human for us to listen to, which is great. It's a great soundbite that is actually on our Instagram. We do have to go to our reviews because we have to get out soon. So if we could, and then we'll come back to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. So let me pull those up. Yeah, so the first review comes from Twitter, and it is from @StoneKettle, who was responding to this week's episode with Dr. Raywin Grant and Denise Antoinette, who said, Marina Franklin is one of the funniest people I've ever heard. She's brilliant.
Ever?
Yeah, that's what this person is saying.
So nice.
Yeah, and then I forgot to say there's another really great review, and just very much complimenting Marina from Dee Dee Memory, who says Marina is the greatest comedian, and so are her friends, which is lovely. And then I grabbed this review from Apple Podcasts, and just a reminder to leave 5 stars and a review on Apple Podcasts, friends like us, so that people who aren't listening to the podcast can find the podcast. It says, nothing but praise for this show. It's the kind of podcast that causes you to want to make your commute a little longer so you can hear more of Marina and her friends. 5 stars, my favorite podcast.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And they're all saying I'm the funniest. They need to get out more.
Yeah.
I thank you, but there's a lot of very talented people. But wow. What were you going to say? Thank you, Evelyn.
Yeah, of course.
And that job will always be yours.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, Juskow, what were you going to say? What were you flapping about?
No, I was just saying on my podcast last week, one of my best friends from elementary school is a hunter. I mean, he goes hunting for sport, but he told me this story, it was his birthday last week, and he went hunting for sheep with this guy, Kenny Larson. So this guy, Kenny from junior high, is raising bison that he's going to kill. Right. So it sounds horrible, right? So they go hunting, and they legal hunt. They have permits and all this kind of stuff. And he was telling me all about it. And then he was telling like, well, he's going to give me half of the bison and then I'll have food for a year. So when he said it like that, I said it would be two-faced of me, even though I feel horrible about it, to say anything, since how does that hamburger get to my table? I don't want to think about it. And he is going old school, where they're killing this bison, and I thought in a humane way, but it's not. And then he's going to cut it up, package it, and put it in his freezer where he'll have food for a year, which is the way it's supposed to work.
That's the way she said it too on our show. She says she
Mm.
doesn't mind if you are hunting for food, but if you're hunting for like a trophy win, to just put like a fur coat on your door.
No, he
and-
hunts and he
yeah.
eats the food. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so then you
you
can
know what? How can we be? I mean, you, Marina, you're the real deal. So you rarely eat meat. You know, anybody that's a vegetarian or a vegan, you know, then you could say this is awful. But how can I possibly ever say, oh, you shouldn't do that? You shouldn't. You know, what am I going to say? I don't know.
That was
I don't
the
want to
thing
know how
that's-
that steak gets
yeah.
on my table. I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, but that's
Well,
the thing
that's
with bears, because like people aren't like hunting bears for food. At least I think for
However-
the most
Right.
part.
there is a bear soup,
Oh.
but it's
There is?
apparently universally icky.
I think you're thinking of turtle soup.
No, there's a bear soup out there. I didn't know this.
I didn't know that either.
These and more will be on this episode. It's on the current episode of Friends Like Us. I guarantee
great.
you will love this episode. She tells some stories that I was like, oh my God, I did not know that. Because I'm going to Vermont again next weekend. Actually, we'll
Yeah.
be off unless I
Mm.
can get my laptop to work from Vermont, which I probably will.
Oh,
And I
cool.
can stream from Vermont. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
That's lovely.
What, you going there next week?
Yeah, we're going again.
Who, you and Lois?
Watch how you say it.
Well, I thought you didn't have that great a time with her last time, so I don't
We
know.
had a
I
wonderful
guess there's
time.
no one else to go with.
No, that's not true. We had a great time. We had the best time ever. And she got Rachel some clothes for Frankie. Oh my God, the cutest
Aw.
little outfits. But no, we're going next Friday, Saturday, and they're having some Santa Claus. They all dress up and they make the village look like a Dickinson. What is this? What am I trying to say?
Like a Dickensian, like
Are you
like a
performing up
Hallmark card, like Christmas,
that's
like
cute.
Norman Rockwell. Is that what I'm trying to
yeah,
say?
yeah.
Are you gonna
Yeah,
perform?
yeah.
No. I'm just going to go and see this. And there's a name that they have for it where they dress up and
Oh, wow.
so that it looks like, like Ebenezer Scrooge time. Is what I'm trying to get the word out, but I can't think of it.
Christmas Carol stuff. Right?
Like a Christmas Carol. And so we're gonna go, and there's bears there. There's a lot. They're hibernating right now, I guess. So, but I remember going out there and thinking, this is hunting season. I do not want to be mistaken for a bear. So Lois went. She goes, "Oh, you don't want to go?" I go, "Listen, okay, you can go ahead, take your white ass out there, but I know it just something could happen, so I'm gonna hang out here in the kitchen."
That's funny.
And they did have a bear just days ago, like on their doorstep.
Oh wow.
They forgot it was Halloween, so they
so
had
it's
had like
candy.
had honey granola bars outside, and the
Oh
bear took
no.
the honey, of course,
Yeah, makes sense.
but took it and ate it behind the shed like a cute little bear would.
Oh.
That's cute.
Anyway, hunting animals is why humans are still here. Before they started agriculture, this is how we were able to sustain. Well, there's a thing about pandas.
Much. We're hunting them to extinction. That's the problem.
I think we could look at pandas for an example. And here's the thing. Pretty soon we're going to find out that in order to sustain this environment, we're going to all have to be vegans. Okay. So that's actually not true. Sorry. Because the production of what they're doing with animals right now is destroying the planet. So if we could find a more sustainable way to do that like we used to do, then yes, but we're not. We're mass producing this really bad meat and people are dying from I can go on and on. Dickinson, yes. Dickinsonian.
No, Dickensian.
Yeah.
Dickens. Oh, okay.
That's how it's
I just wanted to say Dick. Oh, or eat insects. Yes. We'll all be eating insects in the next 50 years. I mean, we won't be here, but
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Evelyn, you'll be here.
Yeah, I
But
can
we
try
will
it.
be eating insects. And some of them are, I don't know, I've never done it. But
A friend of mine who's a comedian loves to eat insects and he buys them in bulk.
What are you talking about?
Yipes.
You can
I have
buy
to
insects.
go. Why
in
didn't you
bulk.
say this early? What are you
that ain't right.
saying?
I
Your
know, and
friend-
they're like barbecue flavored.
No.
Where does he get them?
He just orders them online. His name is Benny Feldman. He's really funny. He was at New Faces this year in Montreal. He's so funny. But yeah, he eats bugs. Like it's like a snack. It's good protein. Yeah.
Well, on that note, we do have to get out because I have to go and run downtown to have my vegan meal.
Ooh.
Speaking of, it's a vegan Mexican joint, which I cannot wait to try. So you guys have been awesome. Thank you from Africa to Germany. Also, make sure you check out this week's episode. Chocolate covered grasshoppers, please stop. Check out this week's episode and then also check out next week's episode, which will be with our guest from South Africa, David Cow from South Africa. One of the
David Juskow will be I'm going to be the next guest.
No, David.
I heard my name.
The Black South African version of you.
I'd like to meet that guy.
Cambodia and Cambodia.
And then we could be like, oh my God,
Yeah,
it's
it looks like
looking in a
Robin from
mirror.
Sweden is actually
and
in
Robin,
Cambodia.
what up?
Why does
So-
everybody come on when we leave?
I know I have to go. I have to finish getting
It's
dressed.
our America time change that threw everybody off.
I guess.
Yeah.
So Evelyn, tell our listeners where they can find you, and then
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Evelyn G. Frick, as well as my website, evelynfrick.com. I'm going to be hosting a Hanukkah comedy show on December 22nd at 7 o'clock at Caveat, New York City. So yeah, you can get tickets on their website. We have a really, really great lineup. It'll be me, Josh Gondelman, Jared Goldstein, Sammy Schwaber, and Jenny Gorlick.
wonderful. Juskow.
Yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere.
Oh,
Sorry.
you'll be here when we leave.
Yep.
That's what. Oh, a half marathon. What?
Wow.
Whoa. Well, have fun. I wish I could run. I don't run anymore. You guys have been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. Marina Franklin here. Just please make sure to check out those episodes. These are really hot topics that we're doing, and it's this one is my favorite episode, the one that's out right now, and I cannot wait to have my two guests from South Africa. So I'm going to be streaming them live. Well, not live, but they'll be on. It's 8 o'clock there at the time that we'll be recording in New York City. And let me tell you, just to have a podcast where you could talk to someone that far removed,
Yeah.
gotta get my words together. So thank you so much. Go to marinayfranklin.com. Also, the Linktree is in the chat. You can follow it. You can find all the platforms where you can listen to friends like us. Make sure you have a very safe and happy holiday. Get vaccinated if you have not already. Get the booster, get the flu shot if you do that. I don't get the flu shot, but that's just another story. And we hope that Juskow will cheer up. We love you, Juskow, don't we?
We do.
It's okay, Evelyn. I'm not there.
Everyone say we love them.
It's okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Fine.
Look, feel better, Dave. Thinking of look at that. Look at that.
Thank you,
That's
Tivy.
so nice.
They love you, knucklehead. All right.